Good morning. This is Prepper Wife. I just want to go ahead and do a video this morning. Kind of tell you a little bit about my family. We've been prepping for quite a while now, probably a little under 10 years, I would say. But I feel like I've kind of been doing this my whole life in a roundabout way, maybe not with supplies. But I grew up in a family with medical professionals and with a father who was gung-ho about the outdoors and survival, partially because that was part of his career path. And my brothers have gone into a similar field. So I've always been surrounded by firearms, medical supplies, and the like, climbing gear, scuba gear. And so I kind of just grew up with it, and a lot of this stuff is kind of second nature to me. So none of it's really, sorry, it's my dogs skittering in and out of this room. A lot of it is kind of second nature to me, so I just don't even think twice about it. But the one thing I think that we never did growing up was store supplies like foods and things like that. So we do have a storage room in our house. It's just an extra room that we put some things on the side as a just in case. And we use things and, we cycle through them. So things come in, things go out. It's kind of, we're pretty much just using this room like a pantry. So we keep a whiteboard. It's got electrical tape on the lines just so we don't have to worry about when we're racing on that board. And it just helps us keep track of our stuff. And we've got some deep freezers. And I have this whole deep freezer filled to the brim right now with meat. A lot of this stuff is individually packaged. So we've been doing this for a while. We've never had any problems with spoilage or anything like that. This other freezer we have doesn't really have meat. It's just got some just extra things like vegetables and things like that. But we have some canned foods, and I like Aldi's because they use pretty much just salt and water in their canned vegetables. So I kind of like that, and it works for us. But I store a whole section with, gosh, it's so dark in this room, which is good, by the way, if you have a dark space for this, because light will deteriorate food. So you don't really want a bunch of windows. So this, I know it's very dim, but I just wanted to show you on the side here that this is double stacked. And in some cases, like with the vegetables, triple stacked. But we have fruit on this first lineup. And then I do a couple rows of vegetables. And I just go ahead and mark the expiration date on the pallet box itself. Well, I guess it's on the pallet, but on the box itself, all of them are the exact same date. That way, I don't have to keep track of, 100 cans. That's ridiculous. So I just write the expiration on each box, and then I don't really take them out of that box till it's done. But you can see here, that's really where we're eating from right now, because that's the soonest expiration. And then we do have some SpaghettiOs, or pasta rings. My husband likes to eat those if I'm just feeling a little lazy making dinner. Sometimes that does happen. Some canned beans. Dinty Moore and Spam, because Hormel did come out and say that their expiration date, actually this stuff can be stored for a bit longer than what it's indicated. So we have a bunch of these. We don't really eat them regularly, but we do have them just in case. And I just kind of shoved some salad dressings there temporarily. Eek. And we've got some drink mixes. Very easy stuff to store. This stuff lasts quite a long period of time, to be honest with you. And then right underneath. Let me go ahead and take a step back through this chaos of a room and kind of just show you. We just purchased 2 large metal racks to go ahead and put some of the stuff on. And we're utilizing most of the space to store our 5-gallon buckets that have Mylar inside of them. And some of the items in these buckets have smaller packages of Mylar within it. I just don't think that for some things like, for example, I've got some coffee here, not whole bean, but I've got, the dehydrated, which lasts quite a bit of time. I've got those individually packaged because I'm not going to probably go through like 10 pounds of coffee within the, allocated amount of time for it before it starts to spoil. So some things like rice I might have in a large Mylar, and something I might talk about this another time. So then I've also got some baking soda up here, quite a bit of it. Excellent for cooking, cleaning, and pretty much this baking soda is really for cleaning. I do use it, so I do go ahead and utilize it. I haven't gone out and had to buy any more because I made sure to buy a couple extra. But baking soda doesn't really expire, okay? So you want fresh baking soda for cooking. But if you're utilizing it for cleaning, laundry, like you can see right on the box, laundry, pool maintenance, scratchless cleaning. Okay, so this can be utilized for all sorts of cleaning activities, which I'll probably do a full video on baking soda itself. It's so useful. It's unbelievably useful. It doesn't expire. You can have a bunch of it, never have to worry about it. And now you know you can take care of a multitude of cleaning needs, even brushing your teeth. So, I'm going to do a video on that another time. I just want to kind of do a brief video of my storage room. So I've got a bunch of canning items here and some extra lids and such up there. My grandmother used to can, and I used to help her snap green beans. I remember that when I was little. It's one of my fonder memories of that time. But yeah, so we've also got vinegar here. I do store a bunch of vinegar because, again, it doesn't really expire. And I do utilize it for all sorts of things, including laundry. It's very useful. And you can make vinegar, and I'm going to talk about stuff like that too, but this is just super easy to buy and dirt cheap, really. So I'm utilizing that oil down there currently. It's a little chaotic. Yeah, we've got some snacks here for the lunches. So it's kind of just sitting there for right now. More tips at the bottom. Sorry about the bags. It's a little chaotic. And then I do have a few shelves here that we're just kind of storing some stuff right now with this coronavirus. I just picked up some extra milks that are shelf stable. And they last for a while. I think these ones expire out in June or July. But we don't have very much powdered milk. I do have some because I bake my own bread, but we don't have, it wouldn't be very tasty. So I just grabbed some of that. We got a canner. Got some cleaning and medical supplies here. And some seasonings. Just some, garlic powder, onion powder. Real basic and easy stuff. Some more cleaning stuff. Toilet paper. Can never have enough toilet paper. And you know what? Probably the one thing that we did buy, I felt kind of weird about trying to find it. Actually, it was kind of hard to find it. So we went ahead and bought some of this some of the wheat berries, the whole wheat berries from Augustin Farms, which I haven't used it yet because we still have flour remaining. I buy a large bag of it. But I'm going to work on trying to grind that up. Maybe I'll do a video when I try it out, see how it works. We have some cup of noodles and ramen we don't really eat this stuff. Well, my husband does eat the cup of noodle for work. It's like a good backup in case he forgets his lunch. But we don't really eat the ramen, but it's dirt cheap. Man, it's like, if you think about it, that's one meal for one person, for a whole year, once per week. It's so cheap. So I think I bought like 5 of them just so we could have them for a prep for 1 year of lunches for us, because it's just dirt cheap. So I just have that on the side. Dog food. Necessary if you have dogs. And then really this other stuff here I just have. Just perishable stuff you would see in a pantry. We're utilizing this right now as a pantry while we're having our home built. So it's just some extra stuff, all perishable. And really, I've learned over the years that if you're going to store something like this that's perishable, only store what you're going to eat, what you're going to use. And if you can get it in, for example, I've got tomato paste here. If you're going to get something like that, don't go out and buy them all one-off. Go ahead and buy a few at the same time. That the way they're all the same expiration date and you can mark something with the expiration date. Keep your life easy. Because I've had to go through our storage, which I always do it once a year at least. And I double check all expiration dates. And I have to say that this has kept us from having... We barely have loss with food because of me purchasing things now on the same time frame. It's actually been super convenient doing it that way. And I've learned what we actually use on a regular basis and how many we actually use per year, which is pretty easy, really. And I might do a video about that, planning out your food purchasing for a year and what you're going to need. So, but I wouldn't purchase more than a year's worth, to be honest with you, of this perishable food, because tastes change. Maybe you like something 1 year and you don't like something another, even if the expiration date's out for 2 or 3 years. I wouldn't recommend it. We've got some applesauces and lentils. I actually need to package these. We love lentils in here. Great alternative for ground beef. Excellent alternative for ground beef, actually. And I might do a video on just beans themselves and great uses for them. Some cleaning supplies right now and some drinks. And then we have this whole closet filled with some totes, a few other things that this actually gets utilized all the time. It's a rechargeable lantern. And toilet paper. Can never have enough toilet paper. And normally I wouldn't advocate for buying the tiny package, but it was dirt cheap. It cost me about $2 for a package. It was dirt cheap. So I guess and water. Oh my gosh. Yes. Water, how important it is. And when you're dealing with things like hurricanes, especially here in Florida, people don't really talk about what happens when you're on well and the power goes out. You need a backup source for power for your pump. And if you don't, you have to store water. Around here, most people don't drink their well water. They go to the osmosis machines in front of the grocery stores and refill their water receptacles. And during hurricanes, what actually happens around here is it'll show sold out on the machine, which means you can't access that clean water. It's very difficult. So I highly recommend having some type of water storage. We utilize this on a regular basis, and I can tell you we drink between 7 to 14 gallons a week with drinking and food preparation. So, very useful. I just want to do a basic overview. Anyway, thank you, and this is Prepper Wife, and I appreciate y'all's time.